Differences. I did not believe in Jesus from a young age. Shortly before I graduated from high school, I received grace and had an opportunity to believe in Jesus. By that grace, I have walked the path of faith to this day, and it is the life God has led me to walk. I was not born into a Christian family, nor was I familiar with the culture or environment of the church. Perhaps because of this, I do not easily fall into the self-contradictions that many Christians tend to fall into. I am not saying this to boast about myself, but I have noticed that some Christians who were born into faith tend to think of themselves as somehow special compared to those like me who were not born into a Christian family. There are many cases where, even within the church, people fall into this self-contradictory attitude, almost as if they have a sense of privilege. I have seen this frequently, even during my training to become a pastor. But I want to ask, what exactly is the difference between a pastor and a layperson? What is the difference between those who were born into faith and those who were not? And what is the difference between a believer and a non-believer? In reality, there is no difference between any of these people. Nevertheless, Christians often fall into self-contradiction because they deceive themselves. We are all made honorable and saved by God's grace, becoming special beings through His grace alone. Without God's grace, we are nothing. Yet when Christians look down on non-believers or assert authority over those with lower positions in the church, they are falling into the contradiction of thinking that they earned God's grace through their own efforts, or because they are inherently special. This is a self-deception. Look at yourself through God's eyes. What do you have that God has not permitted? So why do you exalt yourself or consider yourself special? It is not we who are special, but the grace that God has given to us that is special. When we do not forget this truth, we can truly love our neighbors as ourselves. The difference between a believer and a non-believer is as thin as a sheet of paper. From God's perspective, grace has been given to us, but either it has not been given to them, or they have rejected the grace that was offered to them. Therefore, to avoid falling into the self-deception of exalting ourselves, we must always remember that we are no different from the people of this world and live with gratitude before God. When we forget this truth, we begin to exalt ourselves and mistakenly think that all things were accomplished through our own wisdom or ability. I earnestly hope that you and I will treasure the grace we have received and lift up only that grace.
구독, 좋아요, 알림 설정 해주세요. Subscribe, like, set notifications.